Okay, so my name is Jecelyn. I'm the mother of the orangutan, of course. I'm an Angular GDE, and I'm also a software architect. Okay, so when doing this conference, I actually found that I tried to find like which are the group that I can reach to promote this event, and then I found out there's actually a list of groups in the Facebook. You see, Singapore is the #1, and then there's Thailand group, Taiwan group, Malaysia group, and Indonesia group. And surprisingly, all this group is very active, and people is trying to share resources and asking questions. So if you're on Facebook, if you're still not banning Facebook yet, you can join one of the community and then asking question or contribute. Okay, so who are you? I already said that who are you just now. So there's 40 plus of you coming from 30 plus country. So 30 plus country including Southeast Asia, out of Southeast Asia. And there are only 70% of you are working with Angular now. So for all the others 30%, I assume you are working with React probably. Okay, just kidding. But welcome to the Angular. The first good thing that happens for Angular for me is always the community. Because when you ask questions, I feel like people is very welcoming and accommodating. Yeah, and there are only 70% of you are Malaysia, which means it's a very diverse crowd. So please respect everyone and make everyone feel welcome. So in this banner, right, it's saying that NGMY is for the people, be kind for everyone. But I want to add that this is also a conference for orangutan. So orangutan is welcome as well, the kids. Okay, so for Malaysian, show your Malaysian spirit, our hospitality for the crowd that's not from Malaysia. Teach them a few words to let them, like for example, when they go to shopping mall, bargain, just give them a few tips that you have and share with them how you are using Angular in Malaysia. Okay, so for Angular conference, why do I start that? It's back to like April 2017. I attend the first NGConf in US. That is a very big conference, and I met a lot of awesome people. And I think that this is the experience that we should have, at least in Southeast Asia. So I'm thinking to bring it back to Southeast Asia, but at that time, I actually don't know like whether I can do it, because to run a conference, you need a lot of money and you need a lot of time and a lot of resources. If you can spot, this is Deborah. Later on, she has a session as well. Deborah is here. Yeah. So all of them actually inspired me to start a conference in Malaysia. And then along the way for this few years, I actually went to a different conference as well. NG Taiwan organizer is here as well. He will be giving a talk as well there. So, and then NG Atlanta and NGConf 2019. So I know how people run Angular conference. That's why now I'm confident enough to run this conference independently with the sponsor money and with my money to run it. Of course, it's covered, yeah. So this is actually the biggest financial risk that I've been taking like for all this year. Okay, so now that's why we have NGMY. So I hope you, for attending the conference, there's a few key. The first one, definitely for the good content, because why do you want to go to a conference with no good content, right? So we have that, and we have the orangutan as well. So for your information, the orangutan will be one of the lucky draw prize as well. So we have about 30 that we will pass to you. So depends on whether you have luck or not, of course. And attending conference is also about meeting people. So Southeast Asians usually is very shy when we are talking to others, so probably we stay silent, scared that we are saying something stupid, but that's okay, because in the conference, probably you meet them once only, okay? So you can say anything. If they think, if you ever meet them again, probably you become friends, because yeah, that's how it goes, right? So try to meet people, try to talk. We have a board for Angular feedback and other things, and we have a job board as well. So try to pick one of the job from the board, and then probably that will trigger the conversations as well. And also after each of the sessions that we are having, we'll have a Mama Chat sessions as a gallery. So if you want to talk to the speaker or talk to others people, have the same interest with you, just move to the gallery. And no worries about the of the talks. We'll record all the talks. So if you miss 10 minutes of the talks, then probably it's okay. But of course, if you want to come into the talk, you just be punctual. But if you think you want to spend time to talk to others, you can continue the conversations and watch the video later. Okay? And attending the conference also about finding solutions. So probably in your company, when you're using Angular, you face some problem, you need some help, and you don't know how. Now is the good time, because probably one that beside you will be an Angular developer, and probably they have the solutions and they faced it before. Okay? And of course, to have fun. I hope you have a fun day. We'll have a fun day for these 2 days. And really thank you, everyone. Next, let me welcome Yeen from Google. By the way, I want to say one more thing. His parents is here to support his talk because he purposely flew all the way from San Francisco, come back to Malaysia. He's Malaysian, to give the talk. So let's give applause to his parents and to him.
Hi everyone, my name is Yeen, and I cannot stress how excited I am today because this is truly a very unique and wonderful opportunity for people to come together and, from so many different countries, so many different cultures, different races to come together and, we are here to exchange knowledge and to learn about Angular. It's really about the community. So just a brief introduction about myself. I'm Yeen. I'm a software engineer at Google. I joined the Angular tooling team about 2 years ago. Hello? Oh, okay. So I just have to hold the mic closer. Yeah, I joined the Angular tooling team about 2 years ago, and I've been working on different parts and bits of Angular. I would like to shout out to Jecelyn and her team because I think they have done a really, really amazing job organizing this conference. So a huge round of applause for her and her team. Cool. Jecelyn has already touched on how awesome the Angular community is, but I just want to emphasize it one more time because aside from the technical bits, the community itself is really what truly defines Angular. I just want to relate it to my personal experience. When I joined the team 2 years ago, I had no knowledge of what Angular is or I have always been a back-end guy. Front-end for me has always been like a foreign territory. But Angular community has been really supportive. I learned a lot just by interacting with people on GitHub. I learned a lot from attending conferences, talking to people. And over the years, the community has really, really grown a lot. We started off with less than 250,000 users in 2015. And last year, we recorded more than 1.5 million users to the Angular.io website. And these are developers who are looking up documentation, learning about Angular, and sharing it to the rest of the team. So this has been a really tremendous growth over the past years. And this year alone, we are seeing growth that is even more than that. So yeah, being part of this community is, I think, truly what makes us awesome. The Angular, over the years, it has evolved into many different platforms and tools and frameworks. There's like the rendering engine, the CLI, tools that we are familiar with that we use day in and day out. But part of the evolution of software is that code changes every day. So with all these updates and all this version release, how do we keep up to date? How do users keep up to date, right? So for a majority of the users is, how do I keep up with all these changes? That is why I think we have come up with two main driving principles. The first is that every change that we make must be compatible. This gives users the confidence that, oh, we will be able to keep up because when I upgrade, the upgrade will not break my application. And the way we guarantee this at Google is that if, for example, you land a pull request on GitHub in the Angular repo, a few hours later, that very same change gets pulled into Google repository, and there are hundreds of Angular projects. Every single Angular project inside Google will be building off that master branch. So there is no notion of versions inside Google. every single change is pulled in and being built into production application every day in just the span of a few hours. So this is how we guarantee that every change is compatible. And also, for a lot of enterprise users, we have heard that they want more predictable version releases. That is why we have committed to releasing a major version every 6 months. We did a version 8 release in end of May this year, and version 9 is coming out in the fourth quarter. So with all these changes, how do you update? Most of the time when we talk to users, one of their major concerns is that how do I keep up with all these changes? That is why we have created this documentation site, update.angular.io. It would actually guide you step by step through the update process. And even better, if you are a CLI user, ng update takes care of that for you for free. So we have put a lot of effort into the CLI and the ng update command, and no matter which version you're upgrading from, ng update would do most of the work for you. And this is also, I think, one of the most active contributions from the community. I just want to highlight one of the update experience from this team at Air France and KLM. And I think, in fact, Mark and Tom are here today. Oh, yeah, they're at the back of the room. So yeah, be sure to talk to them. And they wrote about their update experience. They have a very huge Angular application. And this is how they managed to update. Initially, what took them almost a month. And from version 6 to version 7, it has improved to just under a single day. And this is the type of commitment that we strive to provide. And we strive to provide the same experience for every user. So yeah, they have a talk today at 2:30 p.m., so be sure to check it out. Now on to some of the technical details in Angular version 8 that I would like to highlight. The first is differential loading. So this is one of the major contributions by one of our contributors. Imagine, so if you have not heard of differential loading, imagine this. Today, if you develop an Angular application and you deploy it, you have to target, if you use any kind of advanced JavaScript features at all, you will have to take into consideration the legacy browsers and browsers that do not support ES 2015 or higher standards. That is why we have polyfill. But for a majority of the users who are using modern browsers, there is really no use in parsing and downloading all the legacy code and for the polyfill. So differential loading takes care of that. It basically deploys two different bundles, one for the legacy browsers and one for the modern browsers. Modern browsers will skip downloading and parsing the polyfills entirely. And from our own experience deploying Angular.io website, we saw a 40 kilobyte decrease in payload. And from the report of the community, there are about 7 to 20% of savings, depending on how many advanced JavaScript features are used. There are a lot more features in version 8. If you're interested in them, you can check them out at blog.angular.io. But there are two that I would like to highlight today. Is the Ivy renderer and the Basil builder. This is where Angular is moving towards. This is the future, basically. And our team has been working tirelessly to bring this to production. And how many of you have heard of the Ivy renderer? Just to get a sense. OK, cool. So this is the next generation rendering engine for Angular, and it's going to replace the Vue engine. The way I like to explain Ivy is that my background is in C++. So in C++, when you compile a project, it's very much there's a concept of compilation unit, whereby there is this object file. So different modules get compiled into different object files, and then they all get assembled together using the linker. So with the Vue engine today, it's very much a global compilation step. So everything is in one giant step. But with Ivy renderer, it will be more modular, and the linking will be done in runtime. So what is the benefit of this? It's going to be smaller. Smaller is always better because then it leads to a faster runtime, lower memory usage, and it also provides a much shorter incremental build time. The debugging workflow is a lot more simple, and the template type checking will be a lot better. But all of this is not actually what is the most difficult part. Being backwards compatible is seriously the very, very last bit that the team is working very hard to solve. And this is because of the commitment that I mentioned earlier, which is to be compatible with any existing applications. Because Ivy is going to produce an entirely different instruction set, it is very hard to make it compatible with existing Vue engine code, but then our commitment is that once Ivy is out, it's going to be compatible with every single Angular application out there. If you would like to try Ivy today, there is the enable Ivy flag that you can pass on the CLI. And just to show you a sneak peek of what Ivy is going to be. So today, Vue engine and differential loading for a Hello World application is about 130 kilobytes. With Ivy and differential loading, it's going to be 20 kilobytes less. But in the future, if you would like to test out Ivy today, this is what you would get. But in the future, we hope to do a lot more aggressive optimizations on Ivy, and this is what the team is working towards. So in version 8, there are a lot of sneak peek into what we have been working on. So Basil I've mentioned Ivy. The next feature is Basil in CLI, and this is what I've been working on. A few of us in the tooling team have been working on, and the reason is inside Google, the largest Angular applications has over 2,500 components. How do you build an Angular application that is that large? The CLI is not used, so inside Google there is a very different way of building large-scale Angular applications, and we do it through another open source software that is known as Basil. Our team thinks that there is a lot of value in bringing Basil to the Angular community as well. So this is why we have been trying really hard to experiment around with the integration, because, for example, if our CLI user, if you do ng-build today, and if you switch to Basil and you run ng-build, we want the experience to be seamless. If you would like to know how that works, I have a talk tomorrow at 2:20 p.m. And with that, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much, Kin Yi.